Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're here today to talk about May is Bike Month and review how the campaign went this year, take a look at the numbers, and get some preliminary discussion of areas for improvement, things we'd like to see in future campaigns. We will be sending out a survey through Google Forms after the meeting to get more in-depth feedback, but this will help us kind of tailor those questions for the group and get that form finalized. So we'll take a look at the numbers, discuss how we performed this year versus 2023. Take a look, talk about the events for this year, how the swag turned out, and then get some information for the partner feedback survey that will be going out with the meeting notes later this afternoon. You will notice Hillary is not with us today. She has accepted a role in the state of California, Department of Agriculture. So we wish her absolute success, in her new career path. She was a great addition to the Mays Bike Month team and a huge help organizing events and just keeping us on track. Her spreadsheet skills were quite good. And so we definitely miss her as a compatriot, but we look forward to her joining us in future campaigns as a champion for the Department of Agriculture.
Also, we're hiring if you know anyone.
Yes. So we are up on trips this year. We logged 45,000 plus trips during May's Bike Month. And the campaign ran from April 28th, which was the date of the kickoff party that we hosted with Breathe, and then all the way through May 31st. Breakdown of trips by purposes here. 53% of those are fun fitness, and depending on the length of your commute, all my commute trips automatically get tagged as fun and fitness because I ride more than 15 miles into the office at various times. But good 39% are transportation trips that were logged this year, which is a increase from previous years. So the stated goal, one of our goals for May's Bike Month, is to get more people replacing car trips with bike trips, and those transportation trips are a good indicator of that. Our users this year, about half and half overall for new users by gender. 50.7% being male, 46.3% female, with binary and prefer not to say making up the difference in there. Of our new riders, about 42% were regular riders, 30% occasional riders, and 28% new riders. So a good chunk of new riders, and we want to get more people out on bikes. I thought it was interesting that of those new riders, 60% were female. And at this bottom row of charts here, you'll see as you go up, occasional riders starts leaning a little bit more heavily to the male side. And then regular riders, you're about 60% male riders versus the other 40% being female, non-binary, or prefer not to say. So I think one of the goals is for we have more women getting interested in biking. How do we keep them cycling to become occasional and regular riders? Participation, 3,300 plus riders participated in May Bike Month by logging a ride. This is an increase over last year. We'll take a look at exactly those numbers versus last year. And participation was pretty even across the month. Started tapering a little bit in that last week, but pretty even, around 2,000 to 2,400 active participants each week throughout the month, which is great to see. This is a 12-month view. I thought it was important to look at because it stood out to me as I was making this deck. The giant spike you see on the right side of the screen is May is Bike Month. And so this is participation on Love to Ride. There's a slight bump there in the middle that was Biketober last year. And then you see the giant spike is what we're able to accomplish through all of our work, partnering together to do this incredible lift that is May is Bike Month. And it has a profound effect on participation. Now, we'll discuss how to maybe try and continue that throughout the year as we go through the partner survey, get some ideas for how to extend that spike and get more engagement year round. Here's a chart of numbers of 2024 compared to last year's campaign. It's up all across the board, with the exception of workplaces. We'll dig into that. Mainline numbers here on the right for trip metrics. 570,000 miles, almost 571,000 miles were logged during May. 96,000 of those miles were transport rides. That's 61,000 pounds of CO2 that we offset. And 45,966 trips. So that's a lot of riding. And it's an improvement over the 2023 numbers. We grew anywhere from like 3 to 8% on a lot of the metrics, although trips I think was closer to 20% improvement over last year. So riders registered, we were up 2.7% over 2023. Sacramento County was up 3.5%. All other counties were up just slightly, with the exception of Sutter, which is a very small base number. And so, they were like 3 or 4 riders less than last year, which didn't, drag down the numbers for the region by any appreciable means. So definitely a win. Sutter and Yuba, Placer, El Dorado, Yolo, all up about around that 2% mark. 3,325 riders logged a ride. That is up 7.6% versus 2023. So we averaged about 25% of people who registered for the campaign never logged a ride. And maybe they're registering just to get swag at a tabling event. That number was 28% in 2023. So it was one of our goals to improve that conversion rate of getting more people who were registered to log a ride. Still, within the margin of error, 2022 being the first year this campaign had resumed, that number was a little bit lower at 22%. More people kind of chomping at the bit to get outside, I feel. Workplaces. So we changed our strategy with our community outreach people who are contracted through Love to Ride this year, wanting them to focus more on the outlying counties, Yolo, Yuba, Sutter, El Dorado, Placer. Overall workplace registration was down versus 2023 by about 15%. But 329 workplaces logged a ride, which is an improvement over 2023. So if somebody's signed up as, registered their workplace on their account, even though maybe we didn't reach out to that workplace and that individual logs a ride, their workplace gets credited with logging a ride. So that's the discrepancy, I think, in those numbers between the 282 workplaces registered and 329 workplaces participating. New registrations this year were down considerably, 61% versus 2023. So we knew, with the focus being on communities outside of our backyard, that we anticipated a slight decrease in workplace registration, but interesting to see those numbers. We're also transitioning between Lee Karp, who worked for SAC-TMA, had a lot of great business contacts. She's moved on to Reading, but was handing the torch off to a new person this year, and so we anticipated there'd be a little, it would take time to get a new person in that role who was as competent as Lee was. We certainly wish Lee the best, as she's moved up to Reading just last month. She's been building a place up in Reading, but has pursued a new role outside of the SAC-TMA and Love to Ride. Her contribution will be missed. New rider registrations, we were up 7.4% versus 2023, 827 new riders that we registered. 55% of those people actually logged a ride on Love to Ride. That's up 3% over the previous year, and it was 58% in 2022. Those 22 numbers tend to be good 5% higher for engagement across the campaigns. I attribute that to coming out of the pandemic and getting back to a sense of normalcy. So areas for improvement. Attrition from the 2023 campaign. This was also an area for improvement for us last year. 36.5% of people registered in 23 didn't register for 2024. It was 39% between 22 and 23. So slightly better, but still, looking at a third of the people who participated in the campaign don't re-up to participate in the next year. Now, maybe they're still writing, maybe they just don't use the platform, but that's something a puzzle for us to figure out in the future. Logging rides is still, an issue. We registered 55% of new users logged rides. How do we convert those registered users into riders? We need to kind of develop a more cohesive strategy for encouraging those people. Now that you're on the platform, making sure that they follow through and log a ride. Use either the prizes as a carrot on a stick. Use some of our emails that go out to encourage people. One of the biggest contributors to getting people to log a ride are our in-person events. We see a huge bump in participation on days where we have like the kickoff party, where they're getting people registered at the event. People are hosting rides to it. They talk about, use Love to Ride to capture this event. So those in-person events play a huge role in converting registered users into riders. And then, I think we're still struggling with, not struggling, but we're still looking for ways to improve engagement outside of Sacramento and Yolo counties. We have the most population in those counties, and I think Saba's connections are deeper in those counties. But getting Yuba, Sutter, Placer, more partners from those counties definitely helped this year. All those numbers were down last year in overall participation, and we've turned that around to being, in the positive by 2% versus being down 2 to 5% last year. I still feel like there's an opportunity for big growth in those regions. When you see a region has 100 or 200 riders, that there's communities out there that we're not reaching, and the opportunity to get huge growth numbers off of a small base still exists. Overall, event-wise, Saba organized, attended, participated, assisted over 90 events during May. It is a huge crunch on our staff. That's all of our bike mechanic events. They did a lot of stuff with the SAC TMA this year. We were out at schoolyards. Those guys set a record for their number of events this year. It's amazing. I think they did 28 mechanic events over the course of the month. That's not a lot of time off. Our bike delays also, between events at Golden One, concerts in the park, they are facilitating people riding bikes to events that people would normally go to anyways. It makes that rider engagement easier. We have registration signs at the bike valet tents. So there are 20 bike valet events during the course of May. So a very busy month for them. And then, the Saba staff, from Jeremiah, our office manager, our social media manager, Diana, Pearson, our director of outreach, all came out, hosted events, ran Blender bikes, staffed the May's Bike Month booth. Fiza, one of our coworkers who also runs Bike Advocates of Rancho Cordova, was instrumental this year in tabling for May's Bike Month and events. Arlette Hodel as well. So it was a large lift, and there was very few days where were no events going on. I think there were all of about 2 or 3 during the the course of May. So big thank you to the Saba staff for being able to put together such an engaging month full of events and getting out there and getting them done. Uh, our event calendar this year had over 105 events on it. That's the public facing calendar. Now, not everybody has events that the public is invited to, like the Caltrans Directors Ride or the City of Sacramento infrastructure ride that we do, or rides for just your office or events for just for your office. So 105 public facing events on the calendar this year. That's up from 87 last year. And we changed that process. So last year we had a spreadsheet that was run by Love to Ride. We had a lot of issues with errors getting uploaded to the calendar. Had to go back and make corrections with the time delay between the Love to Ride staff and our staff. You know, took a little while to turn around. We changed that into a Google form that's automatically uploaded to a Google Calendar. And so I think we made all of about 2 or 3 edits to events during the course of May, which was a huge improvement, brought down the stress level of managing that event calendar. And we're going to continue that event calendar year round for community events for the cycling community around the region. It's I think a good way to kind of gather community last year after running the campaign and putting together that event calendar through Love to Ride. Saw people throughout the summer like, oh, I found out about this ride from the from the Maze Bike Month calendar, and so connecting people with their cycling community, keeping them out on bikes, and just helping them find people to ride with was pretty rewarding. And so we want to see more of that continue in the future. Swag. All told, we produced $31,000 worth of swag, a little over $31,000. It was, and that's not including the t-shirts that we printed for our staff or t-shirts that partners ordered at cost. Those are all the swag items that we provided to partners to help promote their events. That is up by about I think we're around $22,000 last year. So all that swag was purchased via Saba fundraising. We don't use SACOG money to produce the swag. Yeah. Big thanks to Deb and the Saba board of directors who do most of that, pretty much all of that fundraising for swag. Because we're using Saba funds, we don't have to go through the bidding process that we would otherwise if we use SACOG dollars to do it. Allows us to work with people that we have a relationship with. We know we're getting good pricing from. They're accustomed to working with our unique demands of running this time sensitive campaign. So big thanks to True Color Lithographic. Tim there has been a huge help the last 3 years getting those swag items produced.
And Zusa.
And, yeah, Souza Hicks, that bandana design this year, we were very proud of how that came out. Zuzo did the initial design for SACOG for their map, and then adapted it for our use on the bandana. Yeah, oops, pardon me, hit my space bar there. So I feel like overall the item quality improved versus 2023. In the partner survey, you'll have an opportunity to kind of one scale of 1 to 5, how much you liked each item, how useful it was for promoting Maze Bike Month, the overall quality of it. So we'd love to get some feedback on how you felt about the various items. One thing that didn't go as smoothly as I would have hoped, we had 2 orders of stickers coming in, and that second order was delayed, made getting everything out to the partners a little more complicated than it had to be. That is, I think, the biggest area of improvement for me on the swag campaign this year. But we did offer the opportunity for partners to buy T-shirts this year, which is an often requested item. It's a much larger cost. We're already spending, considerably more dollars on swag this year than we did in previous years. I think I was looking at some old SACOG reports, and I think in 2005 there was over $20,000 spent on T-shirts alone. T-shirts take up a lot of space. It's very difficult to store them all, get them sorted, and so we've tried to focus more on cycling oriented swag items that are smaller, easier to manage, take up less space in our tiny offices. Um, and then also have partners, have some skin in the game. We produced $31,000 worth of items for everybody to give away to help promote their events and get registrations. T-shirts running about $10 a piece were would add considerable cost to the campaign. I think people are more conscientious about how they use swag if they have little skin in the game. So we were excited to offer that opportunity, and we'd love to hear some feedback on if you ordered shirts and how that worked out for you. Moving forward, this is the final year of our initial contract with SACOG to run the Maze Bike Month campaign. There was a bid for proposals for the 22 campaign, and Saba won that bid to run 22, 23, and 24. So we're going to ask you, what changes would you like to see made to the Maze Bike Month campaign if it continues forward in its current form? How can we make it more sustainable? How can we increase engagement outside of the Sacramento region? Would a year-round engagement campaign be more effective than this kind of 1 month intensive lift that we do? And then also we'll get some feedback on how it's been working with Love to Ride this year and over the previous 2 years. We started working with Love to Ride in 22 and moved it over from, I think it was Tres Amigos was the platform. Tres Amigos just tracked mileage, and the roadie groups, the cycling clubs really love that because they crunch a lot of miles. So Love to Ride focuses more on trips and transportation trips, with mode shift being kind of a theme of this campaign and getting new riders on bikes.
I think Tres Amigos is a movie.
Three
Ride
Amigos.
Amigos.
Three Amigos is the movie.
Yeah, Ride Amigos. Thanks,
Oh,
Cheryl.
Ride Amigos. Oh, okay. So we want to get a little feedback on how it's been, getting registrations, working with Love to Ride, your thoughts on the platform, how that process has worked for you, and so when we look at what this campaign will look like in the future, we will take that into consideration. Overall, just want to thank everyone for participating in Maze Bike Month this year and helping get their workplaces organized, hosting events, getting word out about the campaign. And love to open up the floor to any comments, questions, considerations. Deb, do you have anything you want to share about the campaign?
Let's see, it's June 13th. I think we're getting rested now. It was a really busy year. It was really important to do more work out and about in all of the 6 counties, and I think that that's shown in the numbers. So we're really thankful about that. Always, loved the whole campaign is built on not just us, but all of you. Like Kelly is just started this year and she crushed it. Other people have got their regular set of things that they do every year, and that's awesome, so that it's a well-oiled machine. It's all really good, and we really, really appreciate all of the effort that you guys put in. And we wouldn't have gotten the contract without letters of support from a lot of you. So we're going to have some conversations. I know Nicole and Victoria are on the line, who are our grant managers for Maze Bike Month. So we'll be chatting with them about the future. And so stay tuned.
Thanks, Deb. Big shout out to Kelly and the Auburn Trails Association for heading up the drive in Placer County. We attended their kickoff party. They had events all month long. Really great to see the energy up there, and it shows in the numbers.
Awesome. Yeah, I wanted to jump in and say a huge thank you to Saba. It was so comforting and helpful to know that you guys were behind us, and our events were so successful. The swag was so well received. Our final event was trivia, and I think we had about 250 people come out.
Wow.
And we raised money, we gave away great prizes, and I think we had about 50 people registered for our Love to Ride. And just in general, I've seen more people out on the streets, and the cities engaging us more with what we can do to make improvements. So thank you so much, and we're looking forward to next year.
Thanks.
Yay.
Yeah, that is amazing. Love to see new regions kind of get up and running, and with your organization offering bike valet in Placer County, I think you're poised for great growth. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share? Questions?
I'd like this. I'd like to thank Saba as well. Then we had our resident only event at Capitol Yards. We had about the same amount of residents come through, about 100 people. But it was amazing that I had 2 bike docs plus, so I had 3 guys there at the event. And what was great about this event is I really tried to push for people to bring their bikes, and they did. We had a good handful of residents that came, and we looked so professional because they had their little, after they did their little maintenance thing, they hung little bikes there. So it really encouraged residents to participate in the event. It was a great success. I tried to get a lot of people to sign up. I made our own flyer, and for Capitol Yards, try to encourage people to sign under Capitol Yards. Also, just a heads up, my other 2 sites that have been kind of slow will be increasing next year. So that includes Centene and Metro Air Park. During our survey this year, I have a lot of employees interested in bike. And so that will be increasing next year as Metro Air Park is still getting built out. But just a great, tremendous feedback. The swag flew off the table. It's like I put a couple things out there and then they were gone, and I was, and I have to split them between sites. So I don't have very much to share, but people, just a lot of great feedback. And I just want to say thank you, because I know for being as small as you guys are, you guys do a tremendous amount of work. So thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, everyone, for participating and showing up for the meeting today. I will follow up with the copy of the slide deck. Also, if you'd like numbers for your particular county, I can pull those out of Love to Ride and include them. Just drop me a line, and I'll have those kind of headline reports that you saw on the one slide of 2024 compared to 2023. I can pull those county by county. So if you'd like to get a little more drill down into your particular area, happy to provide that information. So thank you for coming, and we will follow up with you as we approach Biketober this fall. So
Happy
Thank you,
summer,
Saba.
everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
thank
Thanks,
you.
you guys. We appreciate you. Mm-hmm.